Hi, and welcome to the SuccessPaTh show, where Christian business owners share their tips for success to show you how to reach your kingdom goals more effectively. I'm your host, Violet Detre, and I have an amazing guest today, Elisha Medlyn. And Elisha is a faith-based business mentor, public speaker, and author. She's successfully run a mentoring business since 2014 and has influenced hundreds of business owners. Her experiences have made her an expert in increasing business profitability by aligning her clients with their mission and purpose. Her methodology centers around divine leadership skills that connect to the hearts, and she trains them to find, see, and bridge the internal gaps that keep them from achieving the results that they desire within their business and personal lives. She lives in Dutch John, Utah, with her adoring husband and 4 warrior kids. Welcome, Elisha.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yes, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
So, what does the heart have to do with radical success?
Well, it's interesting because I've worked with so many different clients over the years at different levels in their businesses, either from brand new entrepreneurs all the way up to multi-million-dollar business owners. And it is so funny how much we think that business is all in our head, how we get to just go do, especially as women. And we go into this mentality of, I've got to get it done now and I got to do it by myself. Or, sometimes we can let a team in, but it's really hard because we want it done a certain way. And so when we just go from the mindset, we're in the masculine. And when we're in our masculine energy, we're actually out of alignment with our divine mission and purpose. And so what I do is I teach my clients, both men and women, how to come back into alignment in their divine masculine or divine feminine. Now, we all have divine masculine and feminine within us, but oftentimes we use it out of balance, and that creates inauthenticity. And so those are the things I have 4 things that I want to share with you today about how to lead from the heart to create relentless success. So the first thing is understanding what it means to lead from the heart and why it's vital for your success. The second thing is being willing to find, see, and let go of what is blocking you from showing up authentically and genuine. And third is to choose to give yourself permission to not only lead, but to hear and listen to your heart so that you can experience the relentless success. And then the bonus 4th one is action, taking imperfect action daily. And in order for us to move forward in our goals, it requires action, which a lot of us don't have a problem with taking action, but we have a problem with taking it, with purpose, with intention. And so that's what I want to share with you today. So the first thing that I talked about was authenticity. Now, we hear that all the time, right? You've heard authenticity all the time.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah. And authenticity is just another word of saying genuine. And there's actually 3 levels to authenticity that I teach. And I'm just going to go over that really quickly with you. The first level of authenticity is at the level that you like yourself, is the level that you can extend the same amount of like to others and that you can receive like from others. And then the second level is loving yourself. So at the level that you love yourself is the same level that you can love others and you can receive love. And then the third level is treasuring yourself. So at the level that you treasure yourself is the level that you can treasure others and you can receive that same type of treasuring back. Now, you might be wondering, why is this important to authenticity? Well, authenticity is all about learning how to lead from your highest self, from not just from what everybody thinks you should be doing, which is what a lot of people do and call that authentic, but you're actually coming from your heart. And I've tried this. When I very first started my business, I didn't like myself very much. And the clients that I got were the same way. They didn't like themselves very much. And so the progression that we got was very slow, and it wasn't as radical as I wanted it to be. And it wasn't until I started learning that it started with me, and it required me to go in and do my inner work. And so what the inner work means is that you come in and you start being radically honest with yourself, 100% honest about what you're feeling, thinking, believing, and moving and learning how to move through traumas and through the drama and through the childhood experiences that weren't all that great, even your marriages, or, you know, whatever experiences have created hurt and pain within you, leaves a mark. And that mark hides your authenticity until you go in and learn how to clean it up. And you clean it up through forgiveness, honesty, and letting it go, and then choosing what you really want, right? So that would be the first step, is doing your inner work so that you can bring out your authentic self, your divine authentic self. And when you step into your divine authentic self, that is when you start to learn how to treasure yourself. And treasuring yourself is such a beautiful place to be, because that is where love is. That is where unconditional love is. That's where charity shows up. That's where we don't care what other people think or say about us. We can just extend love no matter what. And of course, forgiveness too. So that's the first step. And then the second one, well, actually I put both of them in there. So the second one was the inner work, which, so you have the, you know, learning what authenticity is, learning how to like yourself, then loving yourself, then treasuring yourself. And then the second one is doing your inner work. And that is so vital. In fact, I just got done working with a client that she was averaging $2.4 million a year in her business, which was awesome for her, but she wanted to go up to 3.4 million. And she had been trying for over 4 years. And she's hired coaches, she's hired, you know, marketing agents, social media agents. She could not get her numbers up. And so she came to me from a referral from another friend of mine that I did her work with her in her business. And she came to me and she's like, I don't need you. Like, I've been doing this for years. I don't know why I'm here. And we did the strategy call. And within 10 minutes of being on the strategy call, she's like, okay, I need you. All right, how much? And within the 6 months of working together, she reached beyond her $3.4 million goal.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and it wasn't that we learned that I taught her anything new in her business. What I taught her to do is to let go of the masculine that she was in, step into her divine authenticity so she could step into her divine feminine. And then she learned how to lead from the heart, which allowed her to team up with her higher power so that she could be radical in the way that she could experience, not be, but experience radical success in her, not only in her relationships, but in her business as well. So it's pretty powerful.
It works for men also. So.
Yes, it works for men also, because a lot of men are inauthentic masculine, which means that they're all about leaving the feminine completely out of their life. And they're all about, like, I don't care what you say or do, I'm going to do this. And they'll push and prod and be even vindictive in some ways of getting to their goal, which works for them. Of course, there's a payoff or else they wouldn't do it, right? Mm-hmm. But I teach men how to, instead of going in with all force, teach them to go into their divine masculine, which means that they team up with their higher power too, and learn how to balance with their divine feminine. So divine masculine on the men's side is 60%, and the divine feminine on the men's side would be 40%, and females would be the opposite. So women would be 60% female and 40% male. And that's what creates balance, and that's what helps you to step into your divinity.
Oh, awesome.
So, all right. And then the third one that we talked about was giving yourself permission to lead. So many times we don't give ourselves permission. Like, we think, oh, this person said this, or I made a promise to do that. And we have all of these contingencies on our plate, all these expectations, and we stop giving ourselves permission to be us. We stop giving ourselves permission to lead from the heart instead of the head. Because for some reason, we think the head knows it all. And the head thinks it knows it all too. But in reality, it's the heart. The heart is what has all the answers. The heart is where we connect to our higher power. And so if we want to get that relentless success and see all aspects, because right now we're just seeing, you know, with the narrow vision. But when we connect with our heart and our higher power, our vision widens and we begin to see things in a different perspective, and different opportunities and possibilities open up to us because we start to listen here in the heart rather than in the head. And that's a lot of what business talks about. Your ego needs to be in charge. And really, the acronym for ego is edging God out.
Right.
And when we step into our ego full force like that, men and women both, we are so out of alignment. And it's really hard to use our agency with inspiration. We use it as selfishness or, got to get to my goal no matter who that hurts. And really, that's so not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be something that you can leave a legacy for.
Right.
And then not only that, but when you're ego, then you're in fear of other people's opinions. You have expectations that you're trying to measure up to that are unrealistic. You're thinking that you know better than other people. Sometimes people even go into the narcissistic behavior of, I deserve it, or I am entitled to it, that kind of mentality. And that's just such a opposite side of the spectrum that we need to be on in order to really have that sustainable success.
So ego's a big stumbling block.
It is. And that ego can be really removed because ego's there for a reason. Ego's there to protect us and keep us safe. But we can learn to work with it in integrity rather than letting it rule us. We can manage our ego. And that's really what I teach. I teach you how to manage your emotions, manage your ego, remove the old stories that aren't serving you, find all those traumas and pains that are blocking you, and help you really step into your abundance, your progression, your ability to produce the kind of lifestyle that you deserve or that you desire to have.
That sounds like such freedom.
Yes.
And you said there's a bonus point?
There is. The fourth one is the true order of give and receive. And what that looks like is if we choose to team up with our higher power, then we have the ability to go through our higher power to connect to other people. And when we do that, we never have to worry about ego. We never have to worry about comparing or competition. We never have to worry about better than less than, because we are connected to our higher power. And when we're in that state, that is where we can take action because we're inspired, we're directed, we know where to go. I often teach that we are the co-pilots of our ship, and God is actually the head pilot. And if we can learn to team up with God, which for me is God, maybe for you, higher power, whatever that looks like. But when I team up with my God, my Heavenly Father, then I can go to Him and go, okay, this is where I want to see us go. What action would you have me take today? This is the give and receive, because I am giving, I'm submitting what I desire, and I'm receiving what He would have me do to reach that goal. And that is such a powerful tool in order for you to reach your end goal.
And Elisha, this show is called the SuccessPaTh Show, and the T in SuccessPaTh is the cross, because we believe that's the foundation of success. But you spoke about rare faith when we spoke earlier before the recording. What do you mean by that? I mean, I'm so intrigued. How do you mean rare faith?
Well, we have these 4 steps that I just shared with you. And what that actually does is it helps you to practice faith. And faith is something that we do or we learn that is on a regular basis. Like we have faith the sun will rise. We have faith that if we turn the light switch on, the light will turn on. We have faith that if we turn the switch on the faucet, the water will come out. Like we have that faith. All of us do. But in order to create rare faith, it requires to activate all 4 of those steps. And rare faith actually is rare indeed, because that is what will move mountains. And not only mountains, but it moves people. And it creates miracles in your life. And this is where you learn how to fully submit your desires, your wants to God, knowing and trusting that the end result will always be better than you could have ever imagined. This was a hard thing for me to learn, but when I learned it and learned how to trust it, oh my goodness, the amazing things that happened from that was just incredible. Do we have time that I can share a really quick story?
Yes, sure, please.
Okay, so I got divorced back in 2016. I left my ex-husband after 16 years of emotional and spiritual abuse. And when I had right before I left though, I was praying and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm seeing in my relationship. Is it true? And I had the instinct direction to leave, that it was time for me to leave. And that took every ounce of trust that I could muster, because I had 4 children. I had no education. I had no way to provide for my children. I could not afford rent. Like, just the whole gamut of like trying to navigate single life as a mom was so big that I had to turn it over, or else I would have never left. But I knew that if we stayed, my children were in jeopardy. And that was more important to me than trying to figure out everything else, right? And up to that point, I only knew how to exercise faith. So that's what I did. I only exercised faith because I didn't know how to activate rare faith. And through that entire experience of moving away, getting a place to live, having a place to live open up to me out of the blue, job open up out of the blue, all of these things that were total miracles that I was like, there's no way I could have experienced this on my own trying to figure it out. And I knew that because I took that leap of faith, I took action on what I was directed to do, even though everybody else is like, because that was the one thing about my marriage, is nobody knew what was going on because it was all internal. There was no external evidence of abuse. It was only internal. And so nobody could understand it. It just, there was that, oh, you're just being lazy, or you just don't care, blah, 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 all those languages, right? And so when I left, I had all of those stories from other people following me, even though I knew where I needed to go, because that's what I was directed to do. And the fact that people are like, God's not going to tell you to leave your husband. He's not doing anything. And he's not hurting you. And, these things could be fixed, and blah, blah, blah. Like, just so many different stories from other people's perspectives. And if I had allowed that to stop me, I wouldn't be who I am today because of that. And I really believe that experience was a catalyst to teach me how to activate rare faith, because I literally had to let my arms up and just go, I can't do it. It's totally in your hands. Like, I don't know where this is going. I'm too emotionally distraught to even think about my life right now. So God, here you go. And he did a beautiful job with it, more than I could have ever experienced on my own. And because of that, it taught me how to do that in my business. It taught me how to do that with my children. It's taught me how to do it with my new marriage. And it's become something that I teach on a regular basis, because it literally does move mountains and create miracles in your life.
Wow, that's so awesome, Elisha. And Elisha, people can work with you. You have a freebie for the SuccessPaTh audience. Can you describe that for us?
Sure. Yeah. If this sounds something that you feel like you might need, or you're just interested or curious as to what I can offer for you, I do offer step-by-step customized mapping to help you move through whatever it is that you're going through. And so if that is something you're interested in, then I invite you to schedule a free 60-minute strategy call with me, where we will talk one-on-one about what your goals are, what your desires are, and I help you come up with a step-by-step plan. And if that's the next step that you want to take is to work with me, then we'll move forward on that. If not, then you'll leave with some powerful tools that will help you move even further in your life.
Awesome. And thank you so much for offering that. Elisha, also, where is the best place that people can reach you more easily on social media?
Yeah, for sure. And also that strategy call, I believe that is going to be in the link, right, for the strategy call?
Yes, we'll put it in the description. That way they could just click on the link.
Awesome, Violet. Okay. And you can find me on social media, Facebook, with 5 Elements of Wholeness, even under my name, Elisha Medlyn. You can also find me on Instagram at elisha.medlyn. And you can find me on LinkedIn at elisha.medlyn as well. So there's lots of places you can find me. You can even private message me through Messenger through Elisha Medlyn as well.
I appreciate you being so accessible. That's great.
Well, thank you.
And Elisha, this show was created because I saw that there were, it's unfortunate that for some reason, even though we're children of the King, we have it in us to succeed because we have God's DNA. And I've been seeing that some of my friends are struggling so hard in business, and Some may be in depression and about to throw in the towel, and maybe even having struggles with their faith. Like, where are you, God? What would you say to someone like that needs encouragement?
Well, I have been there personally. And if you just choose to get on your knees and say a sincere prayer, he hears. He always hears, no matter what. He's always there. And really, it just takes choosing to take a small action every day. It doesn't mean that you have to know all the answers right now. Just one small step, and he'll meet you where you're at. And that's one of the most encouraging things that I have, because there's been a lot of times where I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this business? And I do it because it's in my heart. And if it's in your heart, you know it's called from God. And because I knew that, even when my most darkest and hardest times, I still chose to take one action step, even if that meant I post one thing on Facebook that day, and that's all I could do. Or maybe that meant following up with one person that day, and that's all I could do. It's enough, because as long as you choose to keep choosing in, God's going to keep showing up for you.
Thank you so much, Elisha. I mean, I see your faith, and I thank you for continuing on, even though, you know, there may be ups and downs in business, but I'm so glad that God is using you to impact other people and help other people grow their businesses. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been fun.
And to the viewer, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you like this episode and share it with your friends. That way we can provide more content like this for you in the future. God bless you. We love you, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye. Thank you.